Hey there. Okay. Um, I wanted to talk about safety in the context of a family, and maybe not in the way that first jumps into your mind. I'm not thinking physical safety, which is important, granted, but I wanted to talk about how the emotional environment that you create as a parent in your family that has these huge implications for how the children will develop and how the family dynamic forms. And so, safety in this context, safety is about feeling that you are okay and you're accepted and loved no matter what. That's my working definition right now. And that if you feel like no matter what you are accepted and loved, even when you make mistakes, then that creates this high degree of felt safety. And when you have that kind of safety, that allows you to be yourself. It allows you to act freely and with more joy and more creativity and exuberance and yeah, bliss, all the good things. Now, maybe that's a little obvious. I don't know. But the ways in which a parent can compromise the felt safety of the rest of the family, let's say your romantic partner, the other parent, and the kids, may surprise you. You know, how that works may surprise you. And what I'm thinking is that maybe the classic example here that would make the most sense, the easiest, would be a teenager. If a teenager comes to you with a confession, you know, like, oh, I went to so and so's house and we got drunk, right? We partied at my friend's house and we got caught, that kind of thing. If they came to you with that, and the response was a lot of anger and you know, resulted in them getting in trouble and grounded and a lot of, you know, disappointment and all that coming from the parent, then, well, then understandably that teenager is not going to feel safe about bringing that kind of information to their parent again. They're going to, and I think most people by that age have already learned that parents are not safe to go to in a situation like that. So, what's the alternative? Does that mean that a parent has to be happy about everything, even the really bad news when their kid does something that is a real problem? Well, I don't know. I don't have a teenager. I've got a 3-year old and a 0-year old, and but I do know, or I think I know, from my experience so far that without the feeling of total safety, the family really suffers. And I can speak from my own direct experience with my wife and how there are ways that I am now aware of that I was making my wife feel unsafe. And I don't mean unsafe for her physical safety again. I'm talking emotionally here, where she felt that she could not be free and know that she was going to be all right in relation to me. You know, maybe guarding her behavior because she was afraid that I might not approve and cause relational problems. And it goes both ways. There are things and topics in which I, as her husband, am like afraid of afraid of just going wrong and and having it turn into an issue. And it has a chilling effect at best on the relationship, where you're starting to worry about, oh, if I do this, that person is going to get mad at me and punish me and withhold love from me, right? And it's speaking from the times when that has happened to me, when I've been on the receiving end of something like that, I can say that it's really hard. It doesn't feel good. It's a high stress reality that I then am living in. Oh, it's like walking on eggshells. It's bad. But even more so in the context of a kid, a little kid, they take it a lot harder, and it really sets the stage for them embodying this negative view of themselves. I am bad. I am flawed. I am wrong. Something like that. And then they don't feel safe being themselves. If they knock a bunch of food off of the dinner table and they get punished for that, well, all of a sudden they're like, all I was doing was trying to figure out how to, interact with these dishes and this food and do what kids do, which is playfully explore and mimic people around them. All I was trying to do was just natural to me, and yet I got punished for it, and parents withheld love from me, right? And that lack of safety then, that let's just say I did that. If I got upset at my child for making a big mess, the thing is, the kid making the mess is actually normal, and any child that makes a mess is doing so out of a normal instinct. It's a normal and natural and necessary instinct of theirs to playfully explore their environment and figure out how everything works. And that is an inherently messy process. There's no way to do it without making a mess. And they don't have the perspectives and the skills and everything to let them perform their experiments in a clean way. It's just asking too much. And so being upset about it is actually the part where things go off the rails. And if the default way that those things turn out is that the child gets the message that they did something wrong, they will internalize that as not the action being wrong, but that they are wrong. And that's a reality just because of the egocentric nature of being a very little kid. They're not really thinking about other people. To them, it's like, everything is for me and because of me, and that's just the mode of, that's the stage of development that a really little kid, 2 and 3 is. It's like they're everything, right? There's nothing else. Nobody else's feelings. Totally irrelevant. Some of us never grow out of that. So what I'm working on for myself is trying to see in what ways are my actions creating a safe versus unsafe environment for the rest of my family. Are there things that I'm doing that is making, my kid anxious around me? Like, is daddy approving of what I'm doing here? Am I going to get in trouble? Is this okay? Or is my wife thinking, oh, here's Dylan, is he going to judge me based on how healthy my meal is, or if I'm taking, if I'm doing the right parenting technique right now, and those are real, right? These are mistakes that I have made because I didn't know. And I'm seeing now that safety, emotional safety, has got to be just one of the most important features of a family. That if you're not feeling safe in the family, you kind of missed the point of the family, right? Like that's humans group together for safety, period. Like your survival depends on it. And so I'm looking at things that I'm doing now. I'm going, okay, how can I foster an environment of safety, of emotional safety, so that people in my family are given the best shot at being themselves? Because I think that your genuine self is the most creative, most joyful, most helpful, and just overall best version of yourself. Like there's no way of improving in a way. I'm sure I'm wrong in some way, but I like to think that my genuine self, whatever that is, I'm still working on it, working on finding it or getting back to it. My genuine self would be my best version of me. And I don't want to deny me or my family or the universe their best versions of themselves by creating an unsafe environment. Does that make sense? Where if I make an unsafe environment for them, if my family feels like they're walking on eggshells around me, then they'll stop being their genuine selves, which means they'll stop being as creative, they'll stop being as joyful, they'll stop being as helpful, things like that. And obviously, it's not a binary equation. There's a spectrum there. But I'm coming to appreciate the importance of safety and how my own psychology impacts the felt or interpreted safety of everyone in my family. So there it is. So I'm wearing my earbuds because there's family activity going on out in the rest of the house, and this is just my way of covering up the sound so I'm not too distracted by it. So just food for thought, we all put a lot of our mental energy into worrying about the physical safety of our family. But maybe we should redirect a little bit of that, just some of the resources, put it towards emotional safety and see how that fosters more vibrance in the family dynamic, each individual and the unit as a whole. And that's what I wanted to say today. So that's it. Thank you. And let me know what you think. The comments really do help when I can see what other people are thinking, get their perspective. It helps me grow. And it also gives me encouragement to continue. So it's all appreciated. Thank you. And I will see you next time.